Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. John Belkowitz here from Intelligent Concrete. Pretty excited to be back in the lab this morning. We had an awesome time at the American Concrete Institute convention, but I always hate being away from that. Oh my gosh. Man, I don't know how to get dressed in the morning. All right, well, we're popping a collar this morning, folks. Commit to it. You got to commit to it. There it is. So we're just getting back to the lab this morning. Started nice and early to get all the lab maintenance done. Our techs did a great job keeping this place running, getting some testing done. So this morning we're going to be talking about self-consolidating concrete and why I think it doesn't get the recognition and the use that it deserves. And I was going back through some files here from job sites here in Denver, and I've got some great videos on a big job that we did downtown Denver a few years back, and it's some beautiful, well-made SCC concrete. The flow of it, the homogeneity, it's just a beautiful, beautiful mix. And the camera, unfortunately, I was taking videos at the time on a job site, hanging on to this, that, or the other. So it's a little bit shaky. But if for those of you who don't know, SCC stands for self-consolidating concrete. My favorite product, hands down, when it comes to brand name products, was Agilia by Lafarge North America, or Lafarge. And it was a brand name product. There was a few different types: Agilia Screed, Agilia Wall, and the concept of an SCC, and I'll tell you why I like Lafarge's so much, but the concept of an SCC was that you had a concrete that consolidated under its own weight due to the force of gravity. So almost like puzzle pieces coming together. And unfortunately, when high-range water reducers first came to the United States back in the early 2000s, not late 90s, early 2000s, people were using those to make SCCs, and they were just taking a mix that had the highest cementitious content, closing their eyes, and throwing that admixture into the back of the truck. And while it worked, and granted this wasn't everybody, while it worked, it was also very sensitive to segregation. When I say segregation, you put a little bit of water into it, all of a sudden you got paste on that side, sand and rock over there. So the reason why I liked Lafarge is they had a concept called, a gradation envelope, where they just didn't use one rock, one sand. They actually did a multiple coarse aggregates, and in some cases multiple fine aggregates. So a 6757, then a pea gravel, then a manufactured sand, and a concrete sand at best case scenarios, even more. And what they were trying to do is create this granular skeleton that had a nice gradation envelope, so they reduced the amount of pores in that gradation envelope. And the idea is, if you have a room with a bunch of bowling balls, you have a certain pore structure. If you take out half of those bowling balls, you put in softballs, take half of those softballs out, put golf balls, so on and so forth. You reduce that pore structure for that granular skeleton in that concrete, so you don't need as much paste to create that consolidating under its own weight due to the force of gravity. And we're going to be posting some pictures about it today. So, now that we know the definition, I've got a minute to tell you why I think it doesn't get the justice, or it doesn't get the use that it deserves. If you don't go towards that optimized concrete blend, and there's plenty of programs. I think there's one called, by Elchem called Elise or Emma. Tyler Lay, or Professor Lay from Oklahoma State University, has this tarantula curve. I mean, there are programs out there to make this easy to create a robust self-consolidating concrete, but I think that's the problem. People don't take the time to design a true self-consolidating concrete with their materials. And you can't just take you can't steal a mix design from somebody, which, unfortunately happens when we are optimizing it. You have to make up your own, and you have to do the work. And if you don't know how to do the work, I mean, there are plenty of testing firms in every freaking area, even, BFE on the other side of the world. There's always a testing lab within a 200 to 2,000 mile radius where you can send your material, have them do that porosity or granular skeleton evaluation, and then, of course, help you design a mix that's more robust, that's easy to make, and that will help you do, some awesome job sites with less people in a faster time. If you have any questions, we'll be doing another episode of Coffee Talk today because we couldn't, Concrete Coffee Talk, because we couldn't do one yesterday due to the trip through Wyoming back here. But remember, if you have any questions, shoot us a message. Go concrete, beat asphalt.